Everyone believes the US dollar will always be king, the symbol of strength, stability, and control. But what if I told you that dominance is quietly slipping away, and most Americans don't even see it happening? A global shift is unfolding. Nations are preparing for a world where the dollar no longer decides who wins and who loses. And when that moment arrives, it won't just affect governments or billionaires. It'll hit every savings account, every investment, and every paycheck. The empire of the greenback. To understand what's coming, we have to go back to where it began. After World War II, the world was in ruins, except for America. At the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, 44 nations agreed the US dollar would be the foundation of global trade, backed by gold. It was a perfect deal. America had the gold, the power, and the trust. For decades, this system created the strongest economy in history. But, like all empires, it planted the seeds of its own downfall, the rise and the illusion. In 1971, President Richard Nixon made a shocking move. He ended the gold standard. From that day on, the dollar was no longer backed by gold, only by faith. The US could now print money without limit, and it did. But here's the trick. Because oil and global trade were priced in dollars, every country still needed them. The petrodollar system turned the US currency into the lifeblood of global finance. For years, this illusion worked perfectly, as long as the world believed in America's promise. Now, that belief is fading. The cracks in the system. Fast forward to today. The U.S. national debt has exploded beyond $36 trillion, more than the GDPs of China, Japan, and Germany combined. And the printing never stops. Meanwhile, nations like China, Russia, India, and Brazil, the BRICS alliance, are quietly building a rival system. They're trading in local currencies, accumulating gold, and launching digital settlement systems that bypass the dollar entirely. Even oil deals once unthinkable without the dollar are now being priced in yuan. The message is clear. The world is preparing for life after the US dollar. America's trap for decades. America used the dollar as its greatest weapon. By controlling global finance, it could sanction nations, freeze assets, and fund wars without consequence. But every weapon, used long enough, turns against its owner. Sanctions pushed countries like Russia and Iran to create alternative networks. Trade wars with China accelerated the de-dollarization movement. Now, the same dollar that once built America's empire is slowly dismantling it. The fallout when the dollar loses its dominance. The effects will be global and personal. Imports will get more expensive, inflation will rise, and American borrowing will become far costlier. The era of cheap credit, cheap goods, and endless debt will end. For decades, Americans have enjoyed the privilege of printing wealth that the rest of the world accepted. But when that trust fades, so does the lifestyle it supported. And the rest of the world, they'll finally be free from the system that kept them tied to America's debt. History always repeats. We've seen this before. The British pound once ruled the world until war, debt, and inflation ended its reign. Before that, the Dutch guilder fell for the same reasons. Every empire believes its currency is eternal, until it isn't. And each time, the signs are the same. Rising debt, declining trust, over-reliance on printing money. Sound familiar? The digital reset. But this Chimi, the reset won't come through gold. It'll come through technology. China's digital yuan is already being tested in global trade. The BRICS nations are developing blockchain-based payment systems that bypass traditional banking entirely. Meanwhile, the US is experimenting with its own CBDC central bank digital currency. It promises convenience, but comes with a catch. Total control. A programmable dollar means every transaction can be tracked, restricted, or reversed. The future of money won't just be digital. It'll be monitored. Cause and effect. How we got here. Every financial empire ends the same way, by believing it can't end. When America printed trillions during COVID-19, it wasn't just an emergency fix. It was a breaking point. Other nations watched as the dollar inflated, the stock market soared, and purchasing power quietly eroded. Now, global investors are turning to gold, crypto, and real assets as hedges against the dollar's decline. And when confidence slips just a little more, the shift could happen faster than anyone expects. The warning. What it means for you, most people think this doesn't affect them. But if the dollar weakens, your savings lose power. Your paycheck buys less. Your investments shift, and global markets react in ways that average citizens never see coming. That's why understanding this shift isn't optional, it's survival. Because once the dollar's dominance ends, the next system begins, and those who see it early adapt. Those who don't get left behind. 3 takeaways. 1. The dollar's dominance was built on trust, not gold, and that trust is fading faster than ever before. 2. Every financial empire in history has fallen. The US isn't immune, it's just next in line for a reset. 3. New wealth will be created in the transition. Those who understand the shift from fiat to digital, from control to decentralization, will thrive. Final thought: the dollar story isn't over yet, but it is entering its final chapters. And when it ends, a new global system will rise from the ashes. The question isn't if it happens, it's when, and whether you're ready for it. So, if you want to stay ahead of history, subscribe now, because in the next video, we'll uncover what the post-dollar world might actually look like and how you can prepare before the reset begins. Because when money changes, power changes, and this time, it's happening in real time.